We're taking a little trip to the Lowlands in Scotland today to visit this single malt from Lindores Abbey Distillery. We're going to find out if the break of 523 years was worth the wait, or maybe we should have waited a little longer. Stick around to find out if it's worth the hype. Welcome back to Lindores George. My name is George, and today we're going to be diving into this single malt from the Lowlands Distillery of Lindores Abbey. I've been following these guys on social media for a little while. Got interested, definitely wanted to try it, but it wasn't really available in my area. Thankfully, it's become available as of recently, so I was able to pick up a bottle. So I'm really excited to kind of try it. If you're into your whiskey history, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. They can trace distilling there back all the way to 1494, which is quite a long time. I'm not sure how many distilleries can claim that. So it's pretty cool if you like the history. Now, for the whiskey itself, this is their single malt called MCDXCIV. Yeah, mouthful, but it is Roman numerals. That basically stands for 1494. As I mentioned before, they can trace their distilling roots all the way back to that year. So it's fitting that the first single malt that they put out, since they started back up, would be 1494. Now this single malt was aged in a mixture of bourbon barrels, wine barriques, and sherry butts. So I'm interested to see what each one of them plays a part into the flavor of this whiskey. Another cool thing with this whiskey is that they use all local barley, which is always a cool thing to see. This is coming in right at 46% alcohol, so probably not going to knock your socks off, but we're going to have to find that out when we give it a pour. Might as well get into the bottle. So as I was saying, if you're into whiskey history, these are definitely somebody you want to look up. Seems like there's a lot of history behind the distillery, and I can't imagine that they call themselves the spiritual home of Scotch whiskey for no reason. So it's definitely got a nice initial nose on it. I'm getting a lot more of the smells from the bourbon barrel, I think, than the wine or the sherry. So I'm getting a lot of vanilla on the nose, sweetness. There's definitely a little more subtle fruitiness on the nose. Now I am getting a little bit of punchiness on this, probably because the whiskey is relatively young that's in here, but it's definitely not overshadowing the rest of the nose at all. I think the rest of the nose is really nice, nicely balanced. Let's go ahead and take a taste. Palate kind of matches the nose. It's pretty soft, but it's got a lot of flavor going for it. Definitely getting a lot of creamy vanilla, kind of like an orchard pear type of a fruit hint. Definitely getting more of the wine and sherry influence here on the palate than I did on the nose. Really nice mouthfeel I'm getting here too. Really creamy, a little silky. I like the finish on this a lot. It doesn't stick around a whole lot of time, but it's almost like you'd get some caramel and just lightly coat it in the inside of your mouth. So you get some sweetness that lingers for a little while. So final thoughts here on the Lindores Abbey 1494 single malt. I'm definitely a fan of it. As I said, I've been kind of waiting to see this pop up around in my area so I could try it out. Overall, I'm definitely impressed with this stuff. I mean, you can imagine that the whiskey in here isn't that old because I think they just fired their stills back up in 2017. So there can't be that much age on any of the whiskey that's in here. But overall, it doesn't taste super young. There's a lot of flavor going on for it. A lot of stuff on the nose, a lot of stuff on the palate. Finish lingers around for a little bit. I think it's just an overall solid whiskey. I'm really glad I was able to pick up a bottle of this because I think it's going to be one of those bottles that I can use to introduce friends to who maybe aren't that into Scotch, but looking to get into it, looking to try something. I'm excited to see what these guys do moving forward. I'd love to try something that has a little bit more age on it. I'm not sure if there's anything out there now or just in general as they move along. But yeah, I definitely recommend trying it out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed by it one way or the other. But until next time, stay curious and cheers.